Many of us believe that taking a daily vitamin is not only safe, but even necessary, especially as we grow older and our bodies start showing signs of slowing down. But the truth is, not every type of vitamin works well with every health condition, and for anyone with reduced kidney function. Even if it's just mildly impaired, some vitamins can place extra, unwanted stress on the kidneys when taken in the wrong way or at the wrong dose. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at one common vitamin, a regular ingredient in most multivitamins made for older adults that can actually become a concern if the kidneys aren't filtering as effectively as they used to. And as always, if you find the information helpful, feel free to give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our practical, science-backed content designed just for senior health. Now, let's dive into the first key point, vitamin A. If there's one vitamin we need to keep a close eye on when kidney function begins to decline, it's vitamin A, especially the preformed kind, known as retinol, which is commonly found in many multivitamin supplements. Now, vitamin A itself isn't the enemy. In fact, it plays a crucial role in many parts of life, from supporting our night vision and protecting our skin, to strengthening immunity and guiding cell growth. But because of its importance, many supplement brands pack in fairly high amounts of vitamin A in the retinol form. That's the kind our body absorbs directly without needing any extra processing. Sounds efficient. Right. But here's the catch for kidneys that are already starting to slow down. That convenience can backfire. When we get vitamin A from food, our body absorbs only what it needs. The rest gets stored in the liver, and the kidneys help filter out leftover byproducts after the liver has done its job. But with the supplement form of retinol, the amount is often much higher and nearly all of it gets absorbed. That means both the liver and the kidneys are suddenly handling a load that the body might not actually need. The real issue here isn't vitamin A itself. It's the silent buildup. Since it's a fat-soluble vitamin, it doesn't get flushed out quickly like water-soluble ones. If we take in too much, the body can't simply pee it out. Instead, it gets stored mostly in the liver. But once the liver is full, the excess gets passed along to other organs, including the kidneys. And in those tissues, the active form of vitamin A can start breaking down into compounds that quietly wear on the kidney structure. A 2024 report in Kidney International Reports pointed out that vitamin A overload, particularly from supplements, has been linked to damage in the kidney tubules, leading to interstitial inflammation and tissue scarring in older adults with reduced kidney function. What makes this so tricky is that the damage builds up slowly, often with no warning signs, and usually isn't discovered until the kidneys are already seriously impaired. To paint a clearer picture, let's imagine the kidneys as a filter net. Their job is to sort through the bloodstream, holding on to what we need and flushing out what we don't. But if we keep pouring in a substance that doesn't break down easily, the net starts to clog. Over time, pressure builds, the surrounding tissues get inflamed, and scarring sets in. Once scarring takes over, the kidney's ability to recover is extremely limited. Here's another piece many people overlook: the liver and kidneys actually work in close partnership. The liver breaks down fat-soluble vitamins like A, and then hands off the final waste products to the kidneys for disposal. So, if the liver gets overwhelmed with too much vitamin A, the kidneys get stuck with the leftovers, or and that's how we end up in a vicious cycle. The liver is overloaded, the kidneys are overworked, filtration drops, and even more vitamin A starts to build up in the body. That's why many geriatric health experts recommend older adults be cautious with preformed vitamin A. Even if there's no obvious liver disease, the concern isn't just about how much we're taking, but how well our organs can process it at this stage of life. So, how much is too much? According to Clinical Nutrition in 2025, adults over 60 with less than perfect kidney function should aim to keep their daily intake of retinol-based vitamin A under 2,500 IU. And if kidney decline has already begun, the safe limit might be even lower. In many cases, it's best to rely on vitamin A from food sources rather than pills. Not only is it safer, but the body can regulate absorption more naturally. Why plant-based vitamin A is safer. When we talk about vitamin A, what we're really referring to is a whole group of compounds that the body can convert into its active form. But not all forms of vitamin A are created equal. And that's the key detail we, as older adults, need to clearly understand. There are two main sources of vitamin A, one from animals, the other from plants. Animal-based foods like liver, eggs, and dairy and most supplements contain vitamin A in the form of retinol or retinol esters, which are already active. Once consumed, the body absorbs them right away, regardless of whether it actually needs them. Plant-based foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, and spinach contain vitamin A in a very different form. It's a precursor called carotenoids, with beta-carotene being the most common. And this form works differently. The body doesn't absorb it all at once. Instead, it decides how much to convert into usable vitamin A, based on what's needed at the moment. If we already have enough, the rest won't build up. It's either rerouted through other harmless metabolic paths or simply excreted. In other words, the body has a natural braking system when it comes to beta-carotene. With retinol from pills, there's no such brake. Thanks to this built-in self-regulation, vitamin A from plants is extremely unlikely to cause overdose. Even if we eat carotenoid-rich vegetables every single day, whether it's a plate of carrots or 2 big sweet potatoes, the body still only converts what it needs. The rest is gently processed and cleared, without lingering in the liver or kidneys. That's why we can freely enjoy colorful vegetables without worrying about putting stress on our kidneys, even if filtration is not what it used to be. But when we turn to supplements, especially high-dose retinol pills, it's a different story. Every single dose gets absorbed in full. There's no internal switch to slow it down. No pause button. And if the amount we take in exceeds what the liver and kidneys can handle, it starts to pile up, triggering oxidative stress, tissue inflammation, and long-term strain on our filtering systems. This concern is clearly laid out in a 2023 review published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition. The authors emphasize that vitamin A toxicity is almost always linked to excess intake of retinol, either from supplements or fortified foods, not from carotenoids found in fruits and vegetables, because carotenoids are converted only when needed, and in flexible amounts. They're considered a much safer option for older adults, especially those with reduced kidney function or a history of kidney issues. That opens up a clear path for us to follow. Instead of taking a pill just to be safe, why not lean into whole, plant-based foods where our body stays in the driver's seat, regulating what gets used and what gets passed along naturally? A plate of sauteed spinach with garlic, a warm bowl of pumpkin soup, or a mango smoothie. All of these are easy, kidney-friendly ways to nourish our bodies with carotenoids. No need to count or measure, and they fit beautifully into everyday meals at home, especially for seniors who already enjoy traditional cooking. Now, if a multivitamin is truly necessary, say, in cases of poor appetite or nutritional gaps, then it's important to read the label carefully. If vitamin A is included, we should look for the words beta-carotene rather than retinol or retinol palmitate. And we need to make sure the dose doesn't exceed the recommended amount for those over 60 when in doubt, especially if there's any sign of kidney trouble. It's always best to check in with a doctor. The big takeaway here is this: not all vitamin A is the same. It's the same nutrient. Yes, but how it enters the body and how the body processes it can lead to completely different outcomes. For younger folks, that difference might not matter much, but for us, as older adults with more delicate internal systems, choosing the right form and the right delivery method can make the difference between helping our body and putting it at risk. Smart Kidney Safe Supplementing. Now that we've explored the different forms of vitamin A and how the kidneys handle each one, it brings us to the most practical question. So what should we actually do? Clearly, just stopping supplements altogether isn't the answer. Our bodies still need daily nutrients, especially now that we may not absorb them from food as efficiently as we did when we were younger. The key is learning how to supplement smartly and safely. The very first step, and it's an important one, is reading the label. That might sound simple, but let's be honest, how many of us really do that every time? There are countless multivitamins on the market today, specially marketed to older adults, with shiny labels and reassuring promises. But the important part is what's on the front of the bottle. It's that small box on the back that tells us what's actually inside. When we find vitamin A on the label, we need to check where it's coming from. If it says retinol or retinol palmitate, that's the type to approach with caution. If it says beta-carotene or mixed carotenoids, that's the form our body can regulate more naturally. The next thing to watch is the dose. Most medical organizations recommend that older adults, especially those with signs of reduced kidney function, should stay under 500 IU of vitamin A per day. Yet surprisingly, many products still contain 5,000 or even 10,000 IU per pill. One pill a day, every day for a month or two, can easily push us past the safe limit without us even realizing it. And we can't forget supplements aren't our only source of vitamin A. Everyday foods like liver, butter, whole milk, and eggs also deliver the active form of vitamin A. When we add up what we get from meals plus what's in our supplement, the total intake can quietly climb higher than we think, especially when our kidneys can't clear things out as quickly as they used to. A 2024 analysis published in Public Health Nutrition raised a serious concern. It found that many older adults regularly take vitamin supplements without checking the dosage, without understanding the form of vitamin A they're taking, and without informing their doctor. The result: accidental buildup of vitamin A in the body, leading to gradual stress on the liver and kidneys that often goes unnoticed. That's why, in addition to reading labels, it's absolutely essential to talk with a doctor or dietitian before starting any new supplement. Doing so not only helps avoid hidden risks, but also gives us a chance to find out what our body actually needs and what it doesn't. In some cases, the doctor might recommend lowering the dose, switching to a plant-based version, or even stopping supplementation altogether if our diet is already well balanced. Here's something else worth remembering. Supplements aren't a magic bullet. They're not a replacement for real food, and they're not risk-free just because they come in a bottle. No pill can do the work of a colorful, nutrient-rich plate of vegetables. And no vitamin, even a well-known one, is completely safe if it's taken the wrong way, especially for those of us with delicate kidneys. But when we choose wisely by reading labels, checking dosages, understanding the form of the nutrient, and seeking professional guidance, we're not just taking a pill. Sometimes all it takes is an extra few seconds before buying a bottle, or 5 quiet minutes to ask the doctor during a routine visit. That's already a powerful step. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over the most important takeaways. First, not all vitamins are friendly to the kidneys, especially as our natural filtering ability slows with age. Second, vitamin A in the retinol form, commonly found in supplements, can accumulate in the body and quietly stress the kidneys when not carefully monitored. Third, vitamin A from plant sources like beta-carotene in vegetables is much safer because the body controls how much to absorb and doesn't store the excess. And fourth, small habits like reading labels, knowing the difference between forms, staying within safe limits, and checking with a doctor can go much further to protect our kidneys than the habit of taking a pill just in case. We don't need to quit vitamins altogether. We don't need to feel afraid. What we do need is to know how to choose the right type, in the right amount, at the right time. As our bodies age, they deserve a gentler, more thoughtful kind of care, one that listens instead of rushing, and respects instead of overloading. If today's video helped you see your supplements in a new light, then that's exactly the impact we were hoping for. And if you found the information helpful, feel free to give the video a like, share it with someone who might benefit, or drop a comment below if you've ever had questions about vitamins and didn't know who to ask. Well, see you again in the next video. Until then, stay well and take good care of those kidneys.